But they would still have one more left. And you don't need to fill it, but if you can, why would you not? Why would you not fill it if you have the opening? You don't need to fill all 13, but if you have one left, again, why? You have it, use it. So I'm going to mention this, and this is more speculation than anything, so I will preface it by that. But I think it's important to know. Now, Adrian Wojnarowski recently reported, it was this morning, that Dan Hurley, the head coach of UConn, who has led the Huskies to back-to-back national titles, some of the great teams I've seen in a long time, just blitzing their way through the tournament every single year. I mean, seriously, they win every single game by double digits in the tournament. It's unbelievable. And the first team to repeat as a champion since the Florida Gators, I believe in 06, 07, when they had Al Horford, Joakim Noah, all those great teams. Point being is that Dan Hurley, the leader of that squad, the head coach, is possibly leaving to get the head coaching job for the Lakers, the LA Lakers of the NBA, to coach the one and only LeBron James. Obviously, it's a great opportunity for him. And I think that given that he can always go back to college, this is, if the money is right, living in California, getting to coach the LA Lakers of all teams, not the Detroit Pistons. No shade, no disrespect to the Detroit Pistons, but the LA Lakers being open is one of the premier jobs in all of basketball, college and pro. I believe it's certainly possible, given this report, that Dan Hurley is leaving UConn and going to the Lakers. What this means, and my point with all of this, is that UConn players, in the event this happens, will receive a 30-day window to enter the transfer portal. And now I know what you guys are saying. The transfer portal is closed. What do you mean by that? Let me explain. If a coach leaves, each player on the roster gets a 30-day window to enter the transfer portal. In other words, the portal reopens for those players. They are allowed to enter in. They are certainly allowed. It is similar to the Noah Waterman situation at BYU. He was able to enter the transfer portal after the window closed because he got a 30-day extension because his coach left for Kentucky, Mark Pope. And Noah Waterman ended up committing to Louisville, by the way. Again, Louisville just getting everyone. They got Noah Waterman. They might get Coleman Hawkins. Not looking good in the ACC in that regard. So my point is that if you have that open spot left, I'm not saying it's likely. It's probably unlikely. I wouldn't bank too much on it. I'm being honest with you. But if you're Syracuse, you're not far from UConn. You're in the Northeast. Why not try to poach someone away? Their head coach is leaving. Do you remember what happened with Kentucky? How basically everyone left their roster. Now, granted, they did fill in those spots pretty well. They should be a top 15 to 25 team in the country heading into next season. But still, a lot of players left. A lot of players even left Louisville before they filled it up with better players, but a lot of players transferred out of Louisville. Is it possible that players will leave UConn? If they do, if you're Syracuse, you have to ask. You have to just reach out. I'm not saying you're going to get one of them or anything like that, but you have to reach out. The guy that I would look at is the point guard that they got in the transfer portal, Aidan Mahaney, not to be confused with Aidan Mahoney or August Mahoney. Again, it is confusing. August Mahoney, Aidan Mahaney, they're basically the same name. But he's a point guard, a career 38% three-point shooter in his 2 seasons at St. Mary's. He committed to UConn in the transfer portal this season. He would immediately be the starting point guard for this team. And you have the open spot to do it. Again, I'm not saying it's possible. Or I'm not saying it's probable to happen. It is certainly possible. I'm not saying it's probable. Is Syracuse going to be able to poach away someone from UConn because their coach left? I don't know. I imagine that other schools are going to get involved, bigger ones than Syracuse that still have open spots remaining. But hey, You're in the Northeast. Ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. The worst you get is no.